Olomouc. Olomouc, the statute city in the Czech Republic, the center of the Olomouc region. It is located in east part of the Czech Republic, in the center of the historical region Moravia on both banks of the river of Morava. The population, about 100,000 people. It is founded in 1253. In due time it was the capital of the Moravian state. One of the ancient cities of the Czech Republic with rich cultural life. Olomouc is called by the second Prague, more quiet and peaceful. In the city there are a residence of the Archbishop, second a university, oldest in the Czech Republic. Palacký's University. The headquarters of ground forces of the Czech Republic and a number of cultural and public institutions. Special highlight of the city, the spacious squares with fountains built at the beginning of the 18th century in Baroque style. History. The legend which arose in Renaissance says that Olomouc was founded by Julius Caesar on the place of the Roman camp. Also the initial Latin name of the city Juliamontium or Juliamins is provided. And though the legend didn't find historical confirmation, and historians with confidence claim that Julius Caesar wasn't the founder of the city, at excavation the Roman camp of the 2nd century AD, which is the most northern in Central Europe, was found here. Olomouc was the most important center of the Velikomoravsky power throughout the 9th–10th centuries. Long time I existed as the fortress, the center of the Olomouc specific principality. In 1253 Olomouc received the status of the royal city. Till 1641 the city was the capital of the Imperial Margravate of Moravia. The Olomouc episcopacy arose in 1063 and was raised to the archbishopric in 1777. The Czech king Wenceslaus III, on the way to the Polish Principality where planned war against Vladimir I, stopped in Olomouc. Here he was killed under mysterious circumstances. Together with his death the ruling Czech dynasty Přemyslovaši died up. During 30 Years' War in 1640 Olomouc was captured by the Swedish troops. Occupation lasted long 8 years. Swedes left the city in ruins that led to loss of positions of the capital of Moravia by Olomouc. This status gradually passed to the city of Brno. In 1758 Frederick the Great made an attempt to take the Olomouc fortress. The siege proceeded 6 weeks, but the city wasn't taken by the enemy. In 1848, in connection with a restless situation in Austria-Hungary, the imperial yard temporarily moves to Olomouc. Here the Emperor Ferdinand abdicated in favor of the nephew Franz Joseph. In 1864 in Olomouc the Austrian authorities kept in the conclusion of the Polish insurgents of 1863. Among them, the leader of group of insurgents T. Romanovich. Since the Middle Ages, in view of the proximity to Austria, the city came under strong German influence. Later the political changes which were caused 30 Years' War led to strengthening of cultural influence of the Habsburg ruling dynasty. Germanization of the city was in many respects caused by his cosmopolitanism. Being a cultural, administrative and religious center of the region, Olomouc attracted people of various estates from the whole Europe. Despite the German influence, Czech remained including in some religious publications 17–18 of centuries. However, use of German as official gradually led to a certain decline of Czech. In the 19th century, statistically, the German-speaking population of Olomouc exceeded the Czech 3 times. The situation began to change after World War I with the emergence of Czechoslovakia as independent state in 1918. The population of the city increased after in 1919 Velká Olomouc due to accession of 2 nearby cities and 11 villages where the Czech population prevailed was formed. Contradictions between the Czech and German residents were especially brightly shown in the years of World War II when the German-speaking population supported Nazis. In the last days of war, at retreat of the German army, fire at the old astronomical clock on a town hall tower was opened. Hours were destroyed. Several rests can be seen in the city museum now. The modern hours decorating a tower, a reconstruction in the spirit of socialist realism. Most of the German-speaking population was moved from the city upon termination of war. From 1968 to 1991 in Olomouc there was a headquarters of the case of the Central Group of Troops. Olomouc is less popular among tourists than Prague, Český Krumlov, Karlovy Vary, though it possesses the Czech Republic's second largest protected historic center after Prague. Sites. Olomouc consists of several spacious areas, main of which, Verkhnaya Square, is decorated with a reference plate column, Holy Trinity column. The sculptural group executed in Baroque style is entered in the World Heritage List. Height of a column is 35 meters. This, the highest of similar to her constructions of Central Europe, was erected in 1716-1754 in honor of disposal of the city of plague epidemic. Other dominant of the main square is the building of a city town hall built in the 15th century. A tower of a town hall which height of 75 meters, decorate a chiming clock with the astronomical clock. The Gothic chapel of St. Jerome, which is on the southern facade of a town hall, is turned nowadays into the museum. Now in a town hall there is a conference hall of the city administration and the Olomouc Hall of Weddings. Olomouc long since is the center of religious and spiritual life of Moravia. The most considerable of the Olomouc Catholic temples, St. Wenceslas's Cathedral, has a long story. Repeatedly its architectural appearance changed. From Romance after Gothic to Baroque and a pseudo-Gothic. The last large reconstruction was carried out at the end of the 19th century in pseudo-Gothic style. However, many parts of the temple reached us in initial execution. Romance crypts, a Gothic arcade, a chapel in Baroque style. Height of the southern tower of cathedral of 100.65 m. It is the second highest church tower in the Czech Republic after a tower of cathedral of St. Vitus in Prague. To the temple adjoin the ancient Přemyslovský Palace. Perzomichi, an ancient Czech ruling dynasty. And the unique Archiepiscopal Museum opened on June 1, 2006. Visitors of the museum can get acquainted with a rich collection of the objects of art belonging to the Olomouc Episcopacy. It is peculiar Moravian Louvre. St. Moritz's Mauritius Church, one more national cultural monument of the Czech Republic constructed in late Gothic style. It took a modern form in the 15th century. In the temple it is possible to listen to the biggest body in Central Europe made by the master angler. The St. Michael Archangel's Church, belonging to a Dominican award, strikes with richness of internal furniture in Baroque style. It is based in the 13th century. St. January Sarkander's chapel is in the place of the former city prison where in 1620 the Catholic priest January Sarkander was tortured. At the beginning of 30 Years' War he was unfairly accused of cooperation with the Poles who intruded on the territory of Moravia. Observing a seal of confession, January Sarkander didn't open details of a tragic mistake and died as a result of cruel tortures. In the yard of a chapel the fountain under the name Source of Water of Life of Street. January Sarkander, a symbol of purity and eternal life, beats. His water comes from the lake to a vault where the saint finished the course of life. In a chapel it is possible to see medieval tools of tortures and a tombstone of Street. January Sarkander. January Sarkander was canonized by the Pope John Paul II during visit of Olomouc in 1995. Then John Paul II visited the well-known pilgrim temple of Visit of Virgin Mary, Svatikopekic, the called Sacred Mountain, at Olomouc. It is the monumental temple built in 1669-1679 in Baroque style. The title of a small basilica was appropriated to the temple by the father. Olomouc is also considerable students and scientific center of the Czech Republic. Palacký's University in Olomouc was founded in 1573 and is the oldest university of the country after the well-known Charles University in Prague. Pride of the city is the collection of the Olomouc fountains executed in Baroque style. In the Middle Ages they performed function of water supply of the city. While the majority of the European cities liquidated old fountains with commissioning of a water supply system, Olomouc decided to keep them as additional tanks on a case of a city fire. Fountains are executed by the famous masters of Kamennishesny business. In sculptures motifs of the Roman mythology are used. 5 fountains are devoted to the Roman gods. To floodlight Neptune, Triton, Mercury and Hercules. The 6th represents the Roman Emperor Julius Caesar, who according to a legend founded the city of Olomouc. In the city several Catholic monasteries, the most known of which is the Grodziski Monastery, one of the first monasteries in Moravia founded in 1078, which is nowadays not operating, are located. Olomouc is broken into 26 urban areas. At the same time cadastral territories. Since January 23, 2007 it was created by 27 city district commissions. The City District Commission is not the commission of administrative units in strict sense of a word, and advisory bodies of City Council of Olomouc. Sport. In the city sports clubs are based. Football, Sigma and 1. A Czech Olomouc. Hockey Olomouc, Rugby Olomouc. In 2008 in Olomouc there took place the Summer Sports Orientation World Cup. In honor of the name of Club of Rest Olomouc the asteroid. 274. Philagoria opened in 1888 is called. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.